Hello everyone, welcome back to Brand New Review. We're getting there. I mean, not really. I mean, we're not even halfway through. I mean, we'll be halfway through at 20 episodes. But anyway, today we will be reviewing The Time Traveler's Pig. So yeah, let's get started. Um, the episode the episode begins with Stan proudly showing Mabel his mystery fare, stating that he's spared every expense. Dipper falls in a car of the sky tram next to them and says that the sky tram is broken, as well as most of his bones. Grunkle Stan laughs and tells them to put fake safety inspection certificates on attractions at the fair. Mabel asks Stan if it's legal to do that, and Stan replies that anything is legal when cops aren't present. Not true, but okay. He then checks on Seuss to see how the dung tank is coming along. He's satisfied with how rigged it is, despite Seuss's suggestion that a laser arm cannon could actually bring it down. Stan mentions that his screwdriver is missing, and Sue suggests that something paranormal may have taken it. Stan tells him that he's been sorry, that he's been spending too much time with the twins, and leaves. Meanwhile, Blandon is seen in the foreground using the screwdriver to fix his cloaking device. Dipper and Wendy walk around the mystery fair until Wendy gets mustard on her shirt and has to go clean it off. Dipper runs into Mabel, and they discuss Dipper's asking Wendy out. Robbie shows up and asks if they know where Wendy is, then leaves when Dipper refuses to tell him. Dipper decides that he needs to keep Robbie and Wendy apart. Mabel says she will help, but sees a sign to win a pig and leaves Dipper. She decides she will try to win old 50-poundy because she thinks he may be saying her name or doorbell. She's guessing the pig's weight correctly. She guesses the pig's weight correctly, so the farmer asks her if she is a witch. Dipper and Wendy walk around the fair until Wendy sees a stuffed creature of intermediate species as a prize for winning a knockover the milk bottle game. She expresses a huge desire for the toy, and Dipper attempts to win it for her. He hands the carnival attendant a ticket for one ball, and the man reminds him he only has one chance. Wendy smiles and gives him the thumbs up. Dipper throws the ball, misses, hitting the crate, and the bottles are stationed on instead. The ball ricochets and hits Wendy in the face, giving her a black eye. Dipper assures Wendy that everything is going to be fine before running off to get her some ice. He retrieves a bag of ice but crashes into Blandon on the way back, spilling ice everywhere. Blandon runs off without apologizing, and Dipper manages to gather up the ice just in time to see Robbie sealing Wendy's eye with a snow cone. Robbie then asks Wendy if she would like to go out with him. Wendy says, "Yeah, I guess so," the same words she used when she agreed to hang out at the fair with Dipper. Mabel, unaware of what just happened, runs up to Dipper and gushes about her new pig waddles. When she realizes he's not paying her any attention, she asks what's wrong and sees Wendy and Robbie run off to ride the tunnel of loving corn dogs. Dipper spends the remainder of the fair heartbroken, staring up at the sky on a ski ball game. Mabel tries to use waddles to cheer him up, but Dipper is much too busy dwelling on the fact that his one mistake caused him so much pain. He spots Blandon, on whom he now blames his misery, and accuses him of spying on them. After using advanced technology in a very feeble attempt to escape, Blandon confesses that he is a time traveler. That he's a time traveler. Dipper sees Wendy and Robbie on the Ferris wheel and asks if he can borrow Blandon's time machine, which appears to be a simple tape measure. Blandon denies the request, claiming that the device is far too complicated for them to use properly. After the twins dismiss the machine, Blandon travels back in time twice, slightly aflame on the second return. He then explains that he is on a mission to prevent a series of time anomalies from happening at the fair, but for whatever reason he has been unable to find them. Mabel gives him some tickets on the fair, claiming that he deserves a break. He happily agrees, but swears that he'll be keeping a close eye on He happily agrees, but swears that he'll be keeping a close eye on them in the machine. Blandon then arrives at the barrel ride, where Sue says he has to take his tool belt off to prevent it from potentially flying off and accidentally fixing a ride. Blandon tells him to guard it, and Sue promises he will watch the belt like a hawk while Blandon gets on the ride. Dipper steals a device while Seuss is distracted by the ride and runs back to the mystery shack with Mabel and Waddles. The twins then travel 6 hours back in time so Dipper can undo his mistake with Wendy, and Mabel can relive the best moment of her life, winning Waddles. Dipper finds Wendy, and she again says that she wants one of the stuffed animals in intermediate species. Dipper tries again, but due to time paradox, his actions involve her eye being injured yet again. Robbie still comes to her aid with the snow cone, and everything happens the way it did last time, including Dipper's involvement with Brendan and Mabel, causing an angry mob because she said she was a witch. Mabel and Dipper keep repeating their actions, Mabel bonding deeper with Waddles and Dipper failing harder every time. Finally, Dipper comes up with a long and complicated plan that requires Mabel's assistance. This time, Dipper intentionally aims for the tent's roof, where it eventually makes its way to the storm drain atop the mystery shack. Mabel moves the drain to that ball, the ball flies back to the fair, hits the target on the dunk tank, and surprisingly still fails to dunk Bronco Sand, much to the disappointment of the carnival goers. Knocks the peaks out of the pizza guy's hands, removes the top of Robbie's snow cone, and successfully takes on the milk bottles without damaging Wendy's eye. The carnival attendant awards the stuffed animal of intermediate species to Wendy, who gleefully shows it to Robbie while proclaiming Dipper won it for her. Robbie becomes flustered and pulls up his hood, walking away without asking Wendy out. Unaware of his intentions, Wendy shrugs and expresses her delight at being able to spend the day hanging out with Dipper. Mabel, now having come down from the roof, is thanked by Dipper before she goes to win Waddles. However, Pacifica Northwest has already won Waddles before Mabel can win him. Mabel screams continuously until she finds Dipper disembarking in the tunnel of love and corn dogs with Wendy. Mabel tells Dipper that she has lost Waddles to Pacifica, and that they need to go back and fix the timeline. Dipper says that this timeline is the only one where he can avoid harming Wendy and that they can't go hopping through time anymore. Upset, Mabel fights for control over the time machine and accidentally sends them back to the Oregon Trail. There, she intentionally messes with the people's knowledge of future inventions and advancements, such as braces, light-up shoes, calculators, women's suffrage, and high fives. Dipper then sends them to the age of the dinosaurs for a few seconds before Mabel takes them to the Dipper sends them to the age of dinosaurs for a few seconds before Mabel takes them to the distant future, wherein the Time Baby is going on a destructive rampage. The pair then hop through some of the early events of the summer, leaving behind various items. The time machine starts shorting out while they run by a snow-covered mystery shack, wherein it appears to be a young Ford. They disappear before he can see them, reappearing in the successful Dipper timeline. Mabel frantically chases after Dipper up for the time machine, saying they have to go back as Waddles is her soulmate, but he reminds her she said that about a ball of yarn. He selfishly tells Mabel that it's over. This timeline is the one they have to keep. Dejected, Mabel begins thumping her head on a totem pole. Dipper believes that she'll soon forget about Waddles, traveling further and further into the future to prove his point. When he goes a day, a week, and a month into the future, he sees that not only has she not forgotten about Waddles, but her condition has worsened to the point where vines have begun growing over her disabled body. She has now been turned into a tourist attraction for the Mystery Shack. He regretfully travels back to the original timeline to reinstate the original timeline, telling Wendy that people make mistakes and should always be forgiven before setting in motion the events that started it all. Wendy walks off with Robbie as Dipper looks on sadly. Mabel and Waddles then appear and express their gratitude by tackling him into the ground. Then the former hugs him by lifting him up. Dipper admits that he couldn't break her heart, and that there was still time for him to win Wendy's heart later in the summer. But yeah, and I'm glad Mabel got the pig because they left this out on the Waking Gravity Falls fandom site. But Pacifica Northwest was very mean to that pig. Like she was almost abusive. So I'm glad that Mabel didn't let Pacifica keep her. Because I hate it when people abuse animals. Makes me sad and mad. Um, Lennon realizes what has happened and takes the time machine back seconds before the time paradox avoidance. Enforcement Squadron members Luff and Dundren appear and arrest him for violating the Time Traveler's code of conduct. Blendon then promises to mess up Dipper and Mabel's life by making their parents never meet. But they aren't too worried because they are still there. And Mabel thinks he forgot to travel. Thanks to Seuss's welding, Uncle Sam has managed to avoid getting dunked at the dunk tank. He happily taunts one of the time paradox avoidance enforcement squadron members, resulting in him firing a futuristic laser arm cannon at the target and successfully dunking Uncle Sam. They disappear, and Dipper and Mabel realize that they were the cause of all the time anomalies. Dipper groans as he sees Robbie and Wendy sharing a caramel apple on a stick. Mabel then sends Waddles, who had earlier expressed a love of caramel apples, off to the pair. Startled, Robbie drops the apple and spills a barrel of boiling hot water on his pants, causing him to shrink painfully. All the carnivore goers laugh at all the carnivore goers laugh at his expense, including the still submerged Uncle Sam. And the episode ends with the Time Baby punishing Lennon by having him clean up the time anomalies. Hence why he's why he hence why he's in the first three episodes of the series. And that was losing my voice a little bit. That was the Time Traveler's Pig. Honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes. I definitely give it a 5 out of 5 for sure. It was a great episode. It was funny. It was smart. And it was just very great. Very great episode. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. I recommend the whole series, but this is one of the better episodes in my opinion. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys next time for episode. We're a quarter there. Only 30 more after this one, because next up we have Fight Fighters, which is episode 10. Alright, I'll see you guys next time for that one. Bye.